Hey guys, my name is Erica. So today I'm going to be doing the mid-year book Freakout tag. I've never done this one before and I don't think I was tagged, but I thought it looked pretty fun and I am having a book freakout because I have barely done any reading this month. And so hopefully the rest of the year is a little bit better. I'm like pretty much caught up on my Goodreads challenge, but I'm starting to fall behind. So the original tag was done by Earl Grey Books, and I'll leave a link to that video down below. And let's just get right into it. Alright, number 1, the best book you read so far in 2020. Okay, honestly, I feel like this video is going to be mostly me talking about my favorite book of the year. Definitely The Prairie of the Orange Tree. I've talked about this book a lot, but this book is my favorite so far that I've read. I wasn't expecting to fall in love with it and to have a new favorite book up on my shelf. I loved it so much, and it's just such a well done story. It's an adult high fantasy and it's a sapphic romance, and of course I just love the characters and the world building. It made me the happiest ever, and it's probably one of the best books I've read, like in general, not just of 2020, but it's one of my new favorite books, and I highly recommend this book. And I might bring it up for this video again, and I apologize, I'm just very obsessed with it. Number 2, best sequel you've read in 2020. The best sequel, I'm gonna have to go with Queen of Air and Darkness. It took me forever to finally pick up this book and read it. I was able to read it during quarantine because I had so much free time, and I was really looking forward to this book, and I wasn't super disappointed. It was actually really good. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of some parts of it, and it's not one of my most favorites of the series, but overall I did really enjoy it. And this is the 3rd book in the Dark Artifices series and the last one, and I enjoyed it, but like I said, it's definitely not my favorite out of the trilogy. I thought it was a pretty good conclusion to the series, and I think that this is probably the only other sequel I've read besides rereading the Grisha trilogy, so yeah, this is pretty much my only option. So yeah, definitely the Queen of Air and Darkness. Number 3, new release you haven't read yet but want to. This book, I have been saying I'm going to read it since it came out, and I just haven't gotten to it, and I honestly don't know if I'm in the mood for it. I've heard a lot of mixed things about it. I am looking forward to reading it, and I will eventually get to it. I just haven't been in the mood for a Sarah J Maas book with all her romance and her characters, and I don't know, I just haven't really felt like picking this book up. So hopefully I'll get to it really soon, but we'll see. Number 4, your most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Okay, for this one I have to choose Ironheart, which is the 2nd book in the Crier's War series trilogy by Nina Varela. I really enjoyed Crier's War. It left off at a really annoying moment, and I'm just really excited to get into the next one and kind of see where the relationships go and the storyline, and hopefully get some more world building. So that's probably the book I'm most excited about. I don't know if there's any others I'm excited about. I'm sure there are, but that's the first one that came to mind. Number 5, your biggest disappointment. For this one, I have to go with The Star-Touched Queen by Roshani Chokshi. I feel bad that I didn't like this book. I was really excited to read it, and I did appreciate it for a lot of reasons, but I was honestly confused while I was reading it, and I wasn't a fan of the insta-love that kind of evolved in this book, and I just really felt lost and confused by how it was written and the timing and when things took place, and just the storyline in general wasn't very clear to me. I had a really hard time getting into it and wanting to keep reading it, and it's a really short book, and it took me a week just to read this alone, so I just wasn't really that impressed with it, and I feel bad because I really wanted to like it, and I think I went in with too high expectations, and they just kind of fell flat. So I'm sorry I didn't like this book. If you guys really love it, I just was very disappointed and didn't have the best experience while reading it. For this one, I'm going to go with Everything Leads to You by Nina LaCour. So I was not anticipating that I was going to love this book as much as I did, and I guess because I have a hard time getting into contemporary books, especially contemporary YA with romance in them. I just feel like they're always super cliche, but Everything Leads to You is a sapphic book. It focuses on this girl who kind of falls into a mystery. As she's solving it, she falls for the girl that she had to find, and I'm not explaining it well, but it takes place in Hollywood, and I love that aspect of it. I liked them being on movie sets, working on films together, and just the really subtle romance and the way that their relationship bloomed, and that it wasn't super forced. It was very gradual. It wasn't too much or super overwhelming. It didn't consume the story. The mystery was probably the biggest part of it, and just the fact that they were working on a movie together, and I love that concept. I love movie making and like that world. So I really appreciated that book, and I was very surprised that I enjoyed it as much as I did. Number 7, your favorite new author, and I think for this one I'm gonna go with Samantha Shannon. I had never read any of her books before, and I have The Bone Season on my shelf and I just never picked it up. I'm happy I finally read The Career of the Orange Tree, and I'm excited to actually read some more of her books because I didn't realize she's actually a queer author. She puts a lot of that into her books, which I didn't realize, and I appreciate it so much, so I'm definitely going to check out more of her books. I'm excited if she writes anything else that takes place in like the pre-order world. So yeah, definitely Samantha Shannon. Number 8, your newest fictional crush. My new fictional crush is definitely Sovereign. I like the way Sovereign's written. I like that she's older. I think she has a lot of really lovely qualities to her, and she's a very strong character. It's very dynamic, and she knows what she wants. She follows her heart, which is very lovely in this book, and I don't know, I just really like Sovereign. I also developed kind of a crush on Crier in Crier's War, and also Ayla. Number 9 is your newest favorite character, but also 8 and 9 are pretty much going to be the same for me. So I love Crier and Ayla, and I love Sovereign and Ede, and I pretty much have a crush on all of them, so that's pretty much going to answer 8 and 9. Number 10, a book that made you cry. I'm going to actually have to go with The Career of the Orange Tree again for this one. It's written very honestly, and it felt very relatable to me. There's a lot of books that I've read, and like the romance and the characterizations and relationships just don't hit me. I just don't appreciate them as much. A couple scenes in this book that I actually had to close it and just I bawled my eyes out. Like, it was really wonderful to read a book that had this type of relationship and these characters. Like, I was able to feel very connected to it and understand it. Like, it made me feel seen, and I don't really get that a lot when I read books. I don't know, it just meant a lot to me, and it was very moving and beautiful, and I just love Samantha Shannon so much for writing them in that way. There were a lot of moments that hit me deeply, and I felt very connected, so I cried a lot. That's just how I am. Number 11, a book that made you happy. There are a lot of books that made me happy, but I'm gonna have to go with Everything Leads to You again by Nina LaCour. That book made me happy just because I love the industry it was taking place in. I love the film industry, and I like the romance, and it made me like really happy because I want that life for myself one day. I want to be working on films and have a cute relationship, and so that just made me smile a lot. And there were a lot of books that I read though this year that have made me happy. Number 12, the most beautiful book you've bought this year or received. I haven't been able to buy a whole lot of books, but I really like the cover of The Queen of Nothing. I know I still have to take that sticker off. I just don't want to leave the residue. But this book is absolutely stunning. This is like the dark version. There is like a whiter version of it, but I really liked this cover. And I love the coloring of it, like the shine. And the snake has this really cool, I don't know if you can like tell in the light, but the snake has like a little shimmer to it in the crown. And I don't know, I just thought this book was really pretty, and this is probably the prettiest book I've bought because I haven't really bought a lot of books this year. Number 13, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? And there are a lot of books I need to read, starting with Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas, and of course when the next Crier's War book comes out. I don't really have like a list of all the books I need to read because I kind of just go with the flow and see what I feel like reading. I also am going to be participating in the 2020 Reading Rush, which is happening at the end of July, so I'm going to have a TBR for that eventually. I don't have like a set TBR for the rest of the year. That's a lot, but I do still need to read like 50 more books to meet my reading challenge, so I guess we'll see how this goes. Alright guys, so I thought this tag was pretty fun. I repeated myself a lot, so I do apologize for that. I have read a lot of books so far kind of this year, but not quite too many, but there are just some books that stand out to me more. Anyway, that is all I have for you guys today. If you like this video, be sure to give it a nice little thumbs up. If you want to keep following me on this booktube journey, please subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ErikaAGobble. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you soon with another video. Bye!